Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Terrorist Moon. Flight boss, the Archangel Uriel. And I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now we're going to talk about Saturn going into Capricorn for all my Taurus ascendants. So, this is the actual main theme on what's going on. Like the main theme. We ain't got to go over drought it and over analyze it. This is the main theme. And with the main theme, you can break it down into all your different areas of life. But this is the main theme. Now, correlating to Taurus is you have Capricorn in the 9th house. So depending on the degree, you know, you may still have Saturn, you may still have Saturn straddling the fence of the 8th house and the 9th house. But you know, you have already been constructing your 8th house, and right now you're on maintenance area. Right now you're on maintenance time. You're cleaning up, sweeping up. You know what I'm saying? Getting the dustpans and throwing away the trash and things of that nature. Getting ready to go with Saturn, getting ready to go home, which is your 9th house. So Saturn plays as a bulldozer. So it's coming as a bulldozer and boom, it's going to tear down your 9th house. Now, what does the 9th house represents? Higher education, higher learning, broad philosophical points of views of looking at the world, spirituality, and God. You know, it's wisdom and knowledge. It's higher meanings and reasonings that you may tie to things. It's your experiences, your ability to experience. Everything is an experience. Just walking up the street is an experience. You see what I'm saying? Moving my hand is an experience. You can learn from everything. That's the 9th house. It's also long distance travel. You see what I'm saying? Within the mind, internally or externally. You know, and it also represents, you know, the 9th house goes deep. It goes to expressions, and it also represents astrology, mysticism, occult, and science. You know, so when we talk about the 9th house, Saturn is going to knock all that down in your life. So you're going to find yourself having to restructure or reevaluate what you have learned. Reevaluate the experiences that you have went through. Reevaluate and take new meanings and structures to your wisdom and knowledge that you have gained. Or restructure the meanings and reasonings you was putting behind the things that was going on in your life. You know, reanalyzing the broad philosophical points of views of looking at the world. Like, all this is tore down. Even the way you may have looked at God previously, or spirituality in general, is all that is going to get tore down. You know, all that is going to get tore down, and it's up to you to rebuild it. So this is the main theme. This is the area of life that's going to so you may experience a lot of situations, a lot of clashes when it comes to different religious views, spiritualities, a lot of clashes when it comes to what to do or what not to do with what you have learned in your life, as far as your education and things of that nature. You know, as far as what do these experiences mean, and what meanings or reasons I could put behind these things to make me feel motivated and to express what I actually want to express. And all, you know, a lot of things Saturn is gonna, you know, Saturn is not truly good or bad. It's just like a grandfather or something like that. Tough love and showing you the bad parts, because you're going to experience the bad parts also. So there's no reason to actually be sheltered. That's just holding somebody back. So, you know, Saturn actually plays like that in the 9th house. Saturn is how one sees reality. So Saturn is actually constructing reality as we speak. So Saturn is how one sees reality, how one gains structure in their life based upon a person, place, or thing, or job, or whatever like that. And Saturn also represents where one places but also receives boundaries and restrictions and limits. And through these experiences, you're here to learn and gain some type of firmament about yourself, some type of firm, some type of stability, practicality, some type of finesse about yourself to move from point A to point B. So Saturn wants to do that, but is not able to do that until your old ways of thinking that's coming amongst this life situation, which is the 9th house, this area of life, and until that get tore down, it has to reshape itself in that way and form. So Saturn has to do it in its way. So it breaks down what it was previously doing, which was previously going about it, and now it's in an area of life where it wants to see the reality of these things. So Saturn is going to make you see the reality of what you know, the reality of the experiences you're going through, the reality of your wisdom and knowledge, and the meanings of reasonings, and how can you practically gain some stability or gain some type of structure in your life from these things. Is it going to show you who you need in your life and who you don't need in your life? Is it going to show you what kind of job you need or what kind of job you don't need? Is it going to show you what kind of circumstance you need to be in or what kind you don't? All that wisdom and knowledge, that's what Saturn is helping restructuring and building. Now, you know I can't leave you without no tools. Now, the way to actually do these things is actually dealing with the oppositions and the squares. You see what I'm saying? So the oppositions and the squares is positive when it comes to the houses. So you need to understand that, because the oppositions and the squares is what actually help you rebuild the house that Saturn just broke down in your 9th house. And you won't experience as much storms without a roof as others will, as long as you apply these attributes. So it's correlated to the oppositions and the squares that's going on within the houses. So if you have any other planets there, you could correlate that. But right now, this is basically based upon Saturn being in your 9th house and it making the square and opposition angles to the other houses. So what are the square and opposite houses to the to Saturn being in your 9th house? Well, we have to go to your as far as the 9th house, the opposite house to the 9th house will be the 3rd house. So let's start with the 3rd house. Now you have to make this a give and receive match, because it's already a tug of war match going on when Saturn goes into your 9th house. So there's already going to be some friction going on here between your 3rd house, which is your surroundings and what you're familiar with, and anything that's in your close proximities. So the things that you're familiar with, that could be a person, place, a thing, a gift, talent, trade, something you have learned. As long as it step into your familiarity part of your brain, then that's the 3rd house. But a lot of things going to be clash with the experiences you have went through, places you may have went and learned something else, the wisdom and knowledge that you may have, the meanings of reasonings that you may put behind things, and your broad philosophical points of views of looking at these things and expressing it. These things expressing it. But yeah, these things right now, these clash, so you have to make these a give and receive match. And how you do that? Sometimes you may have to set aside what you know and your experiences and your wisdom and knowledge. Sometimes you may have to set that aside for the sake of your surroundings and people that's in your surroundings and the things that you're familiar with, the people, places, and things that you're familiar with. You don't want to come across too preachy and too overly teachy and things of that nature. But see, the opposition also brings what attracts. So you just have to learn balance, not be too overbearing, but not be too passive either, because you know when lines are being crossed. Also, you know, with the 9th house opposing, you need to set aside, sometimes you may have to set aside what's going on in your surroundings and what you're familiar with for the sake of what you need to learn and what you're trying to gain wisdom from, even if it comes to traveling or separating or going higher and long distance travel within mind and going far out into thinking into the head and things. So you may have to separate from lower natured people, you know, a lot of things of that nature. So that's how you make this, that's how you will help build your 9th house a little better. Now 6th house, this is a square. The 6th and the 12th houses is the actual squares to the 9th houses. Now, the squares create learning processes. So this is good for the life areas in your life. So when you got the Saturn, the 9th house, you need the square in the 6th house in this aspect right here to help your 9th house, so it don't experience all the storms without no roof, and you can build this house faster. You need to learn how to apply some type of work ethic or whatever you're working on, or scheduling or routine, or something that you could do on a day-to-day basis, or something that you need to criticize and look at the details of, and detailing in general. You need to, and analyzing, you need to take that energy, you need to learn how to apply that with the things that you are learning and the experiences in your life. All things of the 9th house. You need to learn how to apply the 6th house attributes to the 9th house. So anything that you're learning, gaining wisdom about, and putting meanings and reasonings behind, and your broad philosophical points of views of looking at the world, spirituality, and God, you need to work on these things. Make this part of a day-to-day task. Make this part of your schedule. Start to criticize these things. Criticize other people's outlooks on these things. Criticize your own. Look at the details and see how these things actually work, and if they actually work in reality, or they're practical, or these things you may need to let go, and things of that nature, and not stress over, and not worry over. So you need to learn that mechanism. Now, also, the other square is the 12th house. So the 12th house is how you already subconsciously act, how you already subconsciously do things, and your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination, which is the things that you be feeling like, man, I can't wait till I go home and do this, or I can't wait till I go here and do that. I can't wait. Now, all that is the 12th house. These are things that you are subconsciously comfortable with doing, things that tap you into your inner realm. So you need to learn how to apply that to the 9th house. You need to learn how to apply your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination, and start to gain some wisdom. Start to experience your imagination. Start to get into these things. Start to gain wisdom. Start to gain knowledge. Start to add higher meanings and reasonings to these things. And these both is Jupiter houses. So you know, this is actually this may be a little easier to do than other people in their lives for you. So, you know, you need to put yourself in a situation where you're taking your broad imagination, your fantasies, and learning about them, gaining wisdom about them, seeing the astrology, the mysticism about them, the science behind them, add higher meanings and reasonings about them, educate yourself on them, and gain wisdom and knowledge on these things, and the best one of all, experience these things. Even if other people try to make you doubt your subconscious realm in some type of way, don't even be around these people. Experience your imagination and things of that nature. Experience your daydreaming. And you know, yeah, this is for all my Taurus ascendants. And once you do that, you will start seeing shapes and forms take place in your life that you don't have to experience as much as stumbles and falls in your 9th house as others may. So, you know, flight boss, bitch.